What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I'm happy to have this incredible player back on the show. He was on the show when it was just the Draymond Green Show. He haven't been on the show since it's been the Draymond Green with BD show.
What's up, my dog?
Just chilling, brother. But like I said, I'm happy to have this next guest. I've had the honor of playing against this next guest in a playoff series, which amongst a lot of people always create beef. With this guy, it's just a lot of love, and we compete and we talk. He talk on the court way more than y'all know he talk. He never makes it too obvious, but he talk way more than y'all know he talk. He's an all-star. He's a clutch player of the year. In my opinion, definitely the fastest point guard in the league. You can argue with your
Wow.
mama. That's just how I feel. But none other, the one and only Sacramento Kings All-Star guard, De'Aaron Fox. What up, player?
What's
Welcome
good with
back.
y'all, man? I appreciate y'all having me, brother.
Yes, sir. You rich. 2 Christmas trees? That brother.
I ain't gonna lie, we got five.
Oh my God.
We got two in the living room, and then we got three in the foyer.
Oh wow, look
This
at
is
you.
amazing. Yes,
Come on, dog.
sir.
You love the
Oh.
Christmas spirit. We gotta see you some Black Santa gear. Compliments of me and Draymond.
My birthday 5 days before Christmas, so I
Oh
love the
yeah.
season.
Oh,
That's
that's
what's up,
amazing.
man. Happy
That's amazing. My
holidays.
son, December
Oh, yeah, so
22nd.
he right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Happy holidays, my brother.
Happy holidays. I'm a big fan, man. You are actually my youngest son's favorite player. I don't know if you remember when we came to Sacramento. I came to a Sacramento game. I think Rico was coaching at the time, but we just flew up to see. My son wanted to see you play, and when he met you, he was done. He wanted to fly back to LA. So we,
No, I
hey,
remember a couple
bro.
years ago. Plus, just know Rico got a lot of great things to say about you. And he talk about you all the time.
Oh man, that's my dog. Shout out to Rico Hines. But he had nothing but great stuff to say, your work ethic, how much you were a dog. And when my youngest son was like, yo, Dad, that's my favorite player. I was like, how do you know him? He said, I watch him. And I was like, oh, let me start tapping in. You know what I mean? Because I was mad at you from the UCLA days. How you did us like that. So I was holding a grudge, bro. But one, I just love your game, everything you bring to the NBA. Being tagged the fastest player in the league is, one thing. I think for you, when I watch you, is just your overall leadership. Can you just talk to us about just the evolution, you know what I mean, of De'Aaron Fox, and still being with the same organization. So the trials and
Yeah, yeah.
tribulations, that you had to go through to get where you are.
One like coming in, like when I got drafted, Kings had already missed the playoffs for 11 years, right? So I know this.
Hmm.
But I tried not to let that, be the weight on my shoulders. Like it's not my fault. Like I wasn't in the league when they was
Hmm.
when they was missing the playoffs. So coming in knowing that I was pretty much um I was starting behind a lot of like guys that was in my draft. Like Markel went to Philly. Philly had already had Ben and Joel, so they were up and coming. Um, Boston was already in the conference finals, I think, the year before we got drafted. So JT's going to a good spot. Phoenix is obviously building, LA was building. And I'm like, the Kings had already promised me, like, yo, if you're at five, we're taking you. So I already knew I was going there.
Hmm.
So coming in, like, I knew that it was going to be a challenge. But um, as the years kind of went by, I'm like, how can I get better? How can I get stronger? How can I possibly get more athletic and things like that? So just going into every season, I started to learn the game. And I tell kids all the time, you play from high school to college, wasn't a jump for me at all. Like, and obviously that's why we see a lot of one
Hmm.
and dones. And some people do take longer, but a lot of one and dones because that game ain't that different. But then you go from college to the NBA where you're 17, 18, 19. Now you're playing against grown men who feed their families with this game. And I learned that real quick with how serious that this is taken. And it took me time to get adjusted, but once I got adjusted to it, I feel like I've continued to get better. And I feel like the sky's the limit. And then just with leadership, man, um, playing with so many guys, like there's been, I don't know how many players, I'm in year 8. I don't know how many guys from like my second year team that are still in the league. So
Wow.
being able to see that revolving door of how many people have come in and out, I'm like, one, I got to continue to step my game up. Two, I got to continue to be a professional. And three, once I start getting older and my game starts to, dwindle, everybody slows down at some point, what can keep me in the league? And that's kind of, now I feel like I'm still getting better. Obviously I'm only 20, probably 27, but that leadership role, if I'm
Jesus,
not playing.
27. Wow. Ain't
And you're,
that God.
but that leadership role, and if I'm not playing that many minutes or if I'm not playing at all, how can I help a team? And I feel like with my voice and with my knowledge, I feel like I'm starting to kind of turn that corner.
Yeah, I also think you turn in the corner as far as just being, a lot of people, oh, it's speed, it's speed, it's speed. You've been able to kind of like now become a pace changer.
It's funny because
Right.
whenever y'all actually said that, I was gonna be like, I think I play with pace more than I'm just running fast.
Bingo.
For sure.
Pace is that big thing for me because yeah, sure, I can continue to run 100 miles per hour, but who is that helping? Like that's not helping. It's not helping my team, and I'm just getting tired while I'm doing it. So that pace, being able to play with pace while being extremely fast, extremely quick, I feel like has really taken my game to the next level.
That's a fact because you can turn the jets on whenever you want to. And when you turn it on, when you play with the pace like you play at now, when you turn the jets on, it's almost like, damn it, I forgot he was that fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for someone who just give you that all the time,
it's easy to guard. It's easy to guard that. Like
you can game plan for speed. Like at a certain point, if you're just gonna be fast, you can game plan for that. But when you are fast and you got that change of pace, how you I'd say 50%. And you're one of those fast, super athletic people. So your fast walk is a job.
Yeah, people be like, yo, you don't understand how fast you moving. I'm like, bro, I'm not even running.
That's a fact. Like your fast walk is like a really hard job. And it's and so I feel like you spend most of your time at that speed. And then
honestly, I would say like maybe 2 or 3 times in a game, like with the ball, I'm really sprinting. But other than that,
I see you playing like you go from 30 to 60, 80, 70, like even in the half court, I think your game has evolved, being able to play isolation and off the pick and roll and be able to wait and then take the like you can go 0 to 60 faster than anybody. You know what I mean? And so I feel like you've learned how to go 0 to 30, then 30 to 60 before anybody can catch up to you. And I think that's really been the evolution of like your pick and roll game, your ISO game. So it's not even like you're not even going fast no more. You know what I mean? You move fast. You know what I mean? Like you move fast, your moves are much faster, they more precise. And I think, that's why you were the clutch player of the year, right? You getting fouled, you know how to get fouled. It's just great to see.
Yeah, and it took a lot of time to learn that. Like you said, man, with a lot of guys who are faster or more athletic than everybody that they've played against up until a certain point, it's like, what's going to separate you when you get to the top? Because like guys like Zion, Zion's going to be that 0.01% of guys who can be the most athletic in high school, go into college, be the most athletic, and then go into the NBA and you're still the most athletic. But it's not many guys that's like that. So it's like, how can you separate yourself in terms of your athleticism or, whatever gift that you were given, try to evolve that. And I feel like that's what I've done and like continue to work at, continue to try to be in control of how fast you're moving. And I think that's where, a lot of guys who, I was either one compared to or guys who've come in after me that were compared to me where they were super athletic, but then you see them in 2-3 years and they're gone. And it's like, well, why didn't this guy stick? And it's like, well, he was just fast. He couldn't play. He wasn't a basketball player. He was an athlete or he was just quick. So that's why I feel like I'm trying to separate myself. And I feel like people who just think I'm just speed haven't watched me play in a very long time.
Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year for getting in on all the basketball, football, hockey action at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's the season of giving, so we're being gifted college football and basketball, pro football, basketball, pro hockey to almost 24/7. It's an absolutely great time of the year. So a lot of games every day, so many opportunities to place your first bet. Now, if you're going to bet for the first time, just make it simple. Pick a team to win, any team. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook. They have an app. Download it in 90 seconds. Here's the gift for all new customers. Bet $5, just $5. If your bet wins, you get $150 in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The code is Colin, C-O-L-I-N. New customers, $150 in bonus bets if you bet $5 and it wins. Happy holidays from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Now, obviously, you can't teach that speed, but aside from your pace and what you ultimately picked up, what would you say is and since coming into the league, and you talked about like your jump from college, from high school to college, and then your jump from college to the NBA was way more drastic. What was the number one thing outside of the pace that you say you had to improve in order to become the all-star and the face of the franchise that you become? Like, guys that get drafted where you get drafted become the face of the franchise initially. Let's face it, most of them aren't the face of the franchise for a long time. To be able to sustain that, what was the thing outside of just the pace that you had to improve the most?
I would say one, physicality, like 1,000%. Like I was a skinny guy coming into a grown man's league. And two is the understanding of the game. Like I said, we're playing an entirely different game. So like from year 1 to year 2, I feel like I made a really big jump. And I think from year 2 onward and upward, I feel like I've constantly just gotten better, but the jumps haven't been as drastic from my first year. So that was really the biggest thing. Like I said, man, you're playing basketball, but you're playing a whole different sport than you playing in college. Like this is an entirely different sport.
Totally.
And once you actually learn it and you start to really understand the game, even if you're not the most athletic or you don't shoot the best, understanding the game can keep you on the court and can keep you in the league for a real long time. And I feel like that's what like is that kind of was that switch.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like my rookie year was like you walk in and everything is the first time, so you don't really have a feel. But the second year, like you remember how you felt walking in all those arenas and like, nah, I got to change my approach. So when you say that drastic leap, you know what I mean? I think that's like every point guard has to go through that. You know what I'm saying? In order to understand, like, okay, where do I fit in? And then how am I going to build my game and get better and like people understand who I am and learn how to, play my style of play.
Sometimes you got to get thrown in the fire, but hey, everybody can't handle the fire. So like, that's why it's a revolving door. You see dudes in here for a year, maybe 2, and they disappear and we all wondering where they at. It's because they couldn't handle what goes on in this league.
Facts. That is big facts.
Last week, well, first off, before I move to the question, congratulations.
Congratulations.
And what I'm saying, congratulations to last week, your first signature shoe, the Fox One drop, which, as we all know, is not a small feat in the NBA. Everybody think like just having like your own shoe is like coming into the league, you think like, oh, that's just what it's going to be. Man, that is hard as hell to do. And your first shoe release last week, just what did it mean to you? Your first shoe release, Fox One under Curry brand. I know Steph is one of your favorite players coming up. Like what did it all mean to you and how did it get done? If you ultimately, I think leaving Nike and then become a Curry brand and Under Armour and signing under Curry brand, which I think is super.
No,
dope.
it was I mean, it meant the world, man. It's nothing like it. Like you said, like people think that that stuff just happens, but especially coming from a brand like that who's been around and like touching every single sport. Like it's not, I ain't throwing shots at people, but like when you have those smaller brands who just give, if they sign an NBA player, they're gonna give them a shoe. Like it's not the same. This is a brand that's been around for decades and done a lot of things. So just being able to be a part of that is a blessing, man. And Then doing it under Steph's brand and being the first player, that was big for me. So like for me at the end was it was Curry brand, it was New Balance. Those were the two.
Uh-huh.
And New Balance actually offered me more, but Curry brand offered me a SIG. So I'm like, okay, I'm not hard on money. I'm good. I'm good. Plus, like you get royalties on shoes and stuff. So I'm like, we continue to get better. And where we were, we had just played y'all in the playoffs. So I'm like, okay, like trajectory.
Yes.
Hopefully we can keep this thing going. And now, you can play on TV more, you get seen more, shoe sales go. So that's the way I'm thinking.
Absolutely.
And I loved playing in Steph's, man. I played in Steph's, I think about 75% of the season that I was a sneaker free agent. So I love the product. And I told him that whenever we started talking about it and we started talking about having deals, like I love the product first and foremost. And that's kind of how it started. And it was super organic going through it. And obviously, Steph, and he's hitting me like, bro, like it's so dope that you're doing this because not many guys would do it. And I told him at the end of the day,
that is big.
I told him at the end of the day, bro, I'm helping you with your brand, but you're also helping me with my brand. Like I feel like it's working on both sides. And you have a mutual respect where people, when we played y'all in the playoffs, people are like, bro, you can't wear his shoe while you're playing against him. Like, why the fuck not? Like, it's just a shoe. One.
Right.
Two,
right.
Say we beat y'all. And now everybody like, oh, you got beat and somebody had your shoes on. So like it can work both ways.
Yeah.
So cool with it.
Yeah,
Obviously, I don't care what people got to say. They not sitting in business meetings. They don't know what's really going on. And they can sit there and be like, oh, his team shouldn't have had him do that. It's like, bro, you're getting paid millions of dollars to put a shoe on for one. Like, y'all would do it if y'all
ain't that bad of a gig.
And it's the shoe you hoop
exactly, it's a shoe that you love, that I love to hoop in. So I'm like, I'm getting paid to do that. Like, who wouldn't do that? But nah, that the sneaker release, man, it's been dope. When me and Steph were in China, he saw him for the first time. He loved them. So it's been a dope process, bro. And I wouldn't change what we did for the world.
I love that, man. How was sneaker free agency? Talk to me about the free agency process. I mean, you touched on it. You was just rocking what you wanted, but like when you're going through deciding, you know what I mean? It's not always about the money, right? What does it mean more for you and your legacy?
So whenever I was going through it, obviously I was with Nike. I was with Nike my first 5 years. And whenever I was coming, whenever the year was coming up, off season, I was working out and whatever I can get my hands on. So like Reebok was sending stuff. Nike still sent I think this was at the GT Cut 2s. Under Armour sent stuff, Adidas sent stuff, Converse. I played in Converse a lot actually during that season too. And for me, it was like, what feels the best? And then it was like, okay, what does the money look like? Does this company offering me, this much more outweigh how I feel about their product? And that's kind of what was how kind of going. Right. And then once I got to it, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done with Nike at this point. They offered me the same contract, which was good contract, but I'm like, I just want to go in a different direction. And so I was pretty much off them. Then I started seeing my Nike rep everywhere. I'm like, God. I'm like, bro, I see y'all more than I did when I was with y'all. I'm like, nah, it's too late. I'm like, and then they actually offered me more, and I'm like, nah, bro, I want to go a different direction. And it was what it was. Like, no hard feelings. I'll talk to y'all when I see y'all, but I just wanted to go in a different direction. And that's kind of how I came to those last two.
When you talk about your shoe, what's, just as a consumer, what comes different with the Fox One than the other signature shoes that were already out there?
I think one is we wanted to do a shoe that was more like a running shoe. I don't know if y'all see like the Asics and like the dad shoe. That's kind of what's popular right now. So I'm like, I want to get a shoe that even if somebody don't hoop, they could throw them on, go for a run, go work out in them. My boy Reno's like, I'm wearing these with jeans. He's like, your shoe need to come out so I can stop wearing all these other shoes. So we wanted a shoe that could do it both ways. And it's kind of like book shoe. Like book shoe looked like it's not a basketball shoe, but you can go out and hoop in it. And that's kind of that I was trying to go.
Yeah, that's definitely the wave right now, the running shoes. When we were coming up, it was like you really wore hoop shoes
Yeah,
with
yeah. Like
jeans.
when we were, yeah, like when
Like,
I was, middle school, high school, people throwing on bronze, KD, Kobe's with your blue jeans,
absolutely.
with your cargos, whatever type of pants you was wearing, people threw it on like that. So that was my thought process because everybody don't hoop.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was my thought process going into it.
man, on back-to-back nights, you scored 109 points, 60 in the first game, 49 in the second game. That makes you the first King player ever to score 60 in the game, and 109 points in 2 nights is the most in the NBA since the Mamba, Kobe Bryant in 2007. Can you describe the feeling of the 60-point game, then coming back and getting a 49 piece? Oh, that was good.
Nah,
On the
the
heater.
60, man, I was so tired. I was so tired because we was already missing Malik. Debo went down in the first half. And the second half was back me and Domas, but I had it going. So Domas was coming up, cracking whoever was guarding me, and pretty much going downhill most of the night. Nah, it was a crazy, like we was down 22, actually. We was down 20. We had to come back, and we had a chance to win the game in regulation. And I think if I would have scored, I think I would have ended with like 51 or something like that. And we end up not getting the rebound. They get an offensive rebound and they get the last shot. So I was like, bro, I don't even want to get 60. Malik walked up to me in the fourth quarter and was like, yo, you might as well go get 60. And I think I had like 47 or something at the time. So
That's
I was hoping
crazy.
to not even have that chance, but we ended up losing the game. Like you didn't even feel like I couldn't like obviously I still felt good. Like scoring 60 ain't no, that's not,
Easy
but
feat.
we lost. So it's like, bro, I can't even really celebrate this like how I want to. So that was
Right.
the rough part about the night. I would have loved to have won that game and like now I wouldn't have took the little picture with the white paper. I wouldn't have did that. Like have that type of feeling. And then that second one, dog,
What?
I end up missing 3 of my last 5 free throws. Crazy enough, when I have 49. I was at 47.
Um,
I missed 2 free throws. Then I end up getting fouled again because we were playing a foul game. And then I made my that's how I got to
Uh,
49. So Debo walked up to me and was like, bro, what you just start shaking his head and walk to the locker room. And then
he don't miss no free throws.
no, not at all. And then after the game, I find out that Kobe had 110 and everybody's talking about 109, 109, 109. I'm like, bro, 109 seemed like it's so far away from 110. And that just had me kicking myself. That had me kicking myself for a week.
That's funny.
That's
Oh,
too
speaking
funny.
of Kobe and Debo, man, what's it been like playing with Debo? You obviously have played against him. He's been in the West, then he went to the East for a couple years. But what's it been like having him as a teammate? And what's something about his game that, maybe you didn't know from playing him from afar that you've been able to see with just having him as a teammate?
Man, one, just his presence, bro. Like just being around him on and off the court, just a calm presence that he brings to a team and to a locker room. It's like a feeling that you just have never had. And then having him out there on the court, like y'all can go through dry spells and you can just give him the ball and he just go get one.
Create.
But
Yeah.
like but like you said, create. Like he creates so many opportunities for everybody else as well because people are like, well,
Hmm.
yeah, we don't want to give up a midi, but then you start sending doubles at him, and he's such a willing passer. He's so willing to get off the ball. He makes it easy for everybody else. And then one thing, dog, when I say it looked like he walked to his spot. Like at times, he literally will walk to a spot and just shoot over you. Like,
Yeah.
like you're not even standing there. So
Yeah.
at times, and he just scored. I think he just scored his 24,000th point. But
That's
like,
That's
crazy.
crazy.
it's
It's a lot of
amazing to
buckets.
watch. Like he'll run off 5 possessions in a row, just give it to him, and he just
Mhm.
get to a spot, rise up. You gotta foul him. He'll get to the free throw line, shooting 12, 14 free throws, and he just makes the game look that much easier. And it's crazy to see because obviously, like as you're getting older, you don't have the athleticism that you had, but he still go out there and he'll make a super athletic play, but then he come back and it's just real calm, real steady, and he's able to do it over
Mhm.
and over again. And just that consistency that he's done it with, and how long he's been playing, man, is amazing. You see why he's been in the league for I think this is his 16th year.
Damn, dude, that's
Debo, he
crazy.
wanted them one. He
That's
wanted them
bro. I
one.
remember. I remember seeing him like dunking, like when he was first dunking. The year he was first dunking, and everybody was talking about he was dunking in 8th grade. You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
16
Just the
years. I
skill,
think
bro. The skill that you gotta have to like 24,000 points,
to be
like
able to do
as
that.
athletic as he was at a certain time, and you're
Yep.
16, not as athletic, and you still doing that type of stuff. Like it's amazing to see.
Footwork impeccable.
Man,
Another great player you play with great footwork. Sabonis is a basically a double double every night. I think he's highly underrated. I'm sure you do. Tell us about, what it means to play with somebody like Sabonis.
I think he's like you said, I think he's very underrated, very underappreciated. But I think so like the way he's playing this year and the way he's shooting the ball, we're like, bro, you don't even like we're not asking you to come off down screens or shoot off the dribble or anything like that. But we just need people to respect it and I told him this, like whenever I started shooting the ball better and people had to take one step up on you, that opens the court up for yourself and everybody else. And
Yeah.
we tell them, bro, don't hesitate.
That's a fact.
If you got it, shoot it, let it fly. Cause he's shooting,
Yeah.
I think he's like 50, 40, and like 85 right now. So like if we can do that and
Wow.
continue to get him, but it's all coming from very quality looks. If we can continue to do
Hmm.
that, like I think the sky's the limit for him and the sky's the limit for us. Cause then you pull the big out a little bit longer, a little bit more. Now that creates driving lanes. We're able to put teams in rotations and it just makes our offense that much better. But he knows as well as we know where we have to be better at if we want to get to where we want to get to. And Dre know it. We got to be better
Yep.
defensively. Offense ain't never been our problem.
1000%.
Offense has never been our problem. And you talked about, I think you were talking about Indiana last year. You're like, yeah, y'all the number one offense, but you can't guard a soul. Get in the playoffs,
Yep.
like what's this going to look like? So that's my thought process about it,
Yeah.
and we know where we got to be. What's funny though. So we just played San Antonio, right? And we come out of halftime, and
Mhm.
I'm picking CP up, and CP, CP an asshole, so he don't care. He don't care to comment, nothing like that. But he walks up to me, and he like, yo, you like the only point guard that actually plays defense, like that actually come and guards me, come pick me up, and like at the time, I'm like, yo, whatever. Like he said it. But then, after the game, and then he just became the second leading assist ever.
Yeah.
I'm like, knowing CP,
No.
he don't just walk up to nobody and just give him a compliment like that. So I'm like,
Oh man,
he
for
really
real.
felt
At
that.
all.
Like he really
Not
felt
that
that.
guy.
And for me, like I want to be that type of guy. I want to be able to go out there,
Mm.
guard people, be the guy that people don't want to put you in the action because you blow actions up. And then at the end of the day, still on offense, being able to get to work. So like I really did appreciate that.
No, that's fire. You want me to tell you what I fucking hate, Fox? I hate that damn beam.
The beam.
I hate the beam. It disgusts me. And I get great joy out of when we play y'all and the beam does not get lit.
Have you seen it?
Of course I've seen it. And I've also been in a playoff series against you and had to go back to the hotel and look at it till 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, it's ridiculous. I hate that beam. How did they introduce that beam to you? Did they come to you with the idea? Did they light it and y'all was like, dope? Like, what did you think of it at first initially?
So this was so not last year, the year before, the year we actually made the playoffs. We were playing in the preseason, and like they never said anything about it. We're playing in LA. We ended up beating the Lakers, but I think we lost our first preseason game, so like no one knew anything about it. And during the preseason game, we won, and they just tweeted like the beam, and then it was a picture of a beam coming out the top of Golden One. So that's how we learned about it the same way everybody else learned about it. And at first, like it was a
Wow.
gimmick, and everybody was like, "Oh, how long is this gonna last?" And then it started becoming a thing. Fans really started liking it, and other people started hating it. So I think that was the reason that they really kept it, is because other people started hating
Yeah.
it. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's a gimmick," blah blah blah. But I think it's been dope. Like it's a cool thing. Like you drive around the city and you go to a random restaurant and they got some type of beer called the Beam, or they got a poster with a damn beam on it. So it's been cool for the city. And like obviously we have the baseball team here this year, and we have we just got an MLS team, but like for as long as people can remember, it's just been the Kings. So being able to
Yeah.
have that for a city that only had one professional team, has been dope, and I think it just brings the city together. So if other people hate it, man, that makes me like it even more.
The beam, the beam, the beam.
When the Kings win, then the beam is
And
on.
when we in other
say.
stadiums, like our fans are there, and we about to win, and the game's about to end, you start getting those light the beam chants, and it's dope. It's definitely dope. I love it.
No, that's fact. It was no better feeling than going going back to my hotel room and getting my stuff and looking over there and saying we won this series. Ain't no beam. Ain't no beam.
No, it was fun, man. Like I gotta just getting back to the playoffs, and obviously, you won multiple championships and got even got into the finals, lost. Like I want to be able to just feel that, like know what that feeling is, just being able to get to that spot.
One of my favorite coach and people, Mike Brown, in this game, he repeated the word possession 26 times in his last press conference. What's the wildest thing you've seen from Mike Brown as a coach? And then, Dray, that question is for you, too.
I would say it's the clip that everybody saw when he was talking about turn on the Jets. I'm like, bro, when he started running, I'm like, I hope he don't tear something. I just hope something don't pop, because he was moving. Like he was running as hard as he could. And he ran one sprint. He only did it one time. Bullets just start coming down his forehead. But but like that was his first training camp with us. And he set the tone. He definitely
That's a fact. That's a fact. When I saw that clip, I was dying laughing because that's who Mike Brown is. Like he gonna start running, get on the defense, start sliding, dripping sweat. And that's just the passion he brings every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like he the same way every single day. And so I always respected it.
It's crazy. He do be playing defense. When we just doing regular shooting drills, he start coming in, he get in the stands, he like, no, dribble at me, then kick it. Like he really get out there.
That's a fact. We used to be like, yo, Mike B, you need to chill, bro. Your Achilles, like you old, Mike B. Like you ain't working out like that. You gotta chill. But like that's just the intensity that he brings. And you gotta love that about Mike Brown. I'll tell you what I'm surprised at. I'm surprised the thing that y'all have struggled with as a team is defense. Because Mike Brown with defense, like that's what he do. Like he guru. And so I know it'd be driving him crazy. So you got to challenge. You got this on y'all as players because Mike Brown, I know he losing his hair.
He lost whatever hair he had left, wherever it is. Obviously I think personnel is a thing. Like we're one of those smaller teams. Obviously we have a legit shot blocker. So like you're fighting against kind of construction. Like you can't. Obviously, you're only as good as your personnel a lot of the time. So for us, we throw out different things and different looks, try to, muck the game up, try to change the way that people see us. I might guard somebody, then Keegan might guard somebody, then Keon might guard somebody. But I think he's making do with what he's got, and we've been better defensively this year. I think we were like 11 for a while, and then we had a bad stretch, dropped to like 20. I think we're hovering around like 14, 15 right now. But obviously, he one day he comes up to me, he's like, hands me a paper. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it showed the past 20 champions what they were rated in defense during the regular season, what they were rated in defense in the playoffs. And I think the worst was like the 02 Lakers that were like 20th, I think, during the season. But then they were number one defensive team in the playoffs. But this is after they already won a championship, so they knew what it was like. So they just the regular season, then the playoffs, they could flip that switch. And he's like, that's the only team that wasn't in the top 10 that won a championship that year. So he's trying to make it work. And he, as me as the leader and the head of the snake, and a lot of times I'm the guy picking up or the point of attack defender. He's like, this is what we have to get to if we want to win. Our offense can be as good as it can be. But until we go out there consistently, can guard somebody, we're not gonna win.
I agree, man. I think, especially in the Western Conference, because it's so stacked. And right now you're in the playoff picture, but a lot of time left, right? And to that point, working on your offense is potent, right? Defense is hovering, you know what I mean, at about mediocre. What do you think you guys need to do to make sure you get in that playoffs?
We got to be consistent. That's always the word. How can you be consistent? Is what I think we're really trying to figure out. Can we consistently bring physicality every game? Can you not allow offensive rebounds? Can you take care of the ball? Like being able to control those things. Obviously, you can't control if you make shots or not that game. That's the way that the ball bounces. But winning at the little things is his thing. And Dre, you've been in the locker room with him. Possession game, free throw count, turnovers, and what is it, offensive rebounds. Can you win at I think loose balls? Can you win at those things? If we win at those things, you put yourselves in a great chance to win. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to win, but you probably got a higher chance to win than if you didn't do those things. So those are the things that that he's preaching and just trying to be consistent at that. Because like I said, you don't know if you're going to make shots that day, but if you're not making shots, can you get extra possessions? Can you take care of the ball? Can you get to the free throw line? Put yourself in a great chance to win.
Last time you were on the pod, you had spoke about how you were tired of hearing about the Kings playoff drought. You obviously went on to break that drought. Y'all obviously face us, unfortunately. But what was it that you end up finding? It's tough to ask.
Tough task.
Well, especially in your first playoff series, because what it came down to is y'all were probably a better team than us. We just had the know-how. Like we knew between me and Steph and just us talking, and then Clay, like Clay being who he is and what he's done, we just knew how to do it. And so what was it that you found coming out of that playoff series that you like, all right, when I get back there, I now know this that I think can help us get over the hump?
I think the big thing in it is adjustments. Like, obviously, we go to Game 7, and good game until halftime, and then y'all come out in the third quarter and just punch us in the mouth. And like there was no looking back from that point in time. But I just think every time y'all made an adjustment, it like frazzled everybody because guys have been in those positions. Like I think Domas had played in the playoff series before, but and then HB obviously had played in the finals. But other than that, like it was my first time. It was Malik's first time. Egan was a rookie. Kevin had played in the conference finals before. But like most of the guys, especially our main guys, were, it's our first time doing this. TD's first time, Davion's first time. Like it was everybody's first, most of the guys' first time being able to be in that type of environment. And even at home, like once y'all hit us in that second half, it was like, yo, what the hell are we gonna do? Like we couldn't figure out a way to stop nobody. Then we couldn't really score. Y'all up the physicality from the first 6 games. And I think it kind of rattled everybody, and it was pretty much over. Like we literally couldn't. We had no answer for anything that y'all had at that point. But just knowing that and being able to feel a playoff series, and like for me, playing a team 7 times in a row, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like my head hurt. I'm tired of seeing them. Like it was different, but I love the feeling. Like I'm like, bro, I'm in the best shape of my life. Like I feel like I could play for another month. And then even last year, after we beat y'all and then we lost to the Pelicans, I'm like, bro, like I'm in the best shape. Like I feel like hell. And then the Pelicans go get swept by OKC. I'm like, shit, they could let us win. And I would have got us a game. I would have got us 1 game. But just being able to have that feeling, it's like it's hard to describe unless you've been through it. But on what it felt like, I'm like, I need to get back there and try to take those next steps, because you don't want to be a part of a team that's just, you get in the first round, you get bounced. You get in the first round, you get bounced. Now, are you looking at blowing teams up after that? So it was a good feeling to break that. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm a competitor. So just getting to the playoffs, obviously losing to a team that had just won the championship. Obviously, I felt good about getting to the playoffs, but then having that, like, I feel like I'm missing out. So
yeah, I think I watched that series, man, and I thought, one for your first playoffs, that was like everybody say your coming out party. That was your coming out party. I felt like when you guys go up 2 games, y'all was up 2-0, right? We know what happened in game 2. right? Is there anything we know what happened?
We know what happened.
We know what happened in game 2.
What happened in game 2, BD?
Man, you got then you get ejected and kicked
Oh,
out.
you talking about when bruh grabbed my ankle with both of his
I
hands?
ain't see it.
That man grabbed my ankle with both of his hands. Check this out, BD.
I didn't think they was gonna suspend you though. I didn't think that.
Look, Doc.
I mean,
But
if I get suspended.
That was the
Like-
most pivotal point in the series, though. It
Wait,
was-
1 second though, BD. Time out. He grabbed my ankle with both hands. And they specifically told me, nah, that ain't nothing. I just didn't move my arm a few weeks ago. I didn't grab, I just didn't move my arm. And so Zach Edey tripped. And I was upgraded to a flagrant foul after the game.
Right.
Now, but when my ankle was grabbed with two hands, they told me that wasn't nothing. I said, that's crazy. So that's number one, BD. Number two, it was a turning point. You know why it was a turning point? Because they were up 2-0.
Yes.
And they went up 2-0, and they should have just left things the way they were. Mike Brown come out like, oh, we're going to see what the league do. Number one, I was pissed at Mike because, bro, you've been in the foxhole with me. You know the bullshit that I've been up against. And you go feed this narrative.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think it cost them because you changed the way the series look. You up 2-0, leave everything the same.
Yeah, you want the same.
Don't
You want the
change
same
nothing.
smoke. You want the same smoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah,
because,
blow 'em out.
because guess what? You know why? So here's what happened. You changed the way it looked. Now your game
That's the
plan
thing.
that is set for the team with me. So now you're essentially going into a playoff game where they're completely game plan for you and what you want to do, and you're essentially going into the game with no game plan for what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And it's like when Ja got hurt when we was playing them in the championship year, they beat us by 50 the next game because we went into a game and it's not on the coaches. It's just you haven't seen it. Whereas they've seen your game plan for 2 straight games. So once y'all changed the game plan essentially by him saying, oh, we'll see what the league gonna do, as opposed to saying, let's move on. He fueled the fire and then y'all got blown out. Now coming back in game 4, again, here's the know-how. We know the adjustments we need to make, right? So now we come back to game 4 and we know the adjustments we need to make. Y'all ain't beating us once we make the adjustments because we know.
Y'all end up winning 3 in a row.
Exactly. And so it just changed the whole complexity of the series. And
yeah, I remember game 4 because y'all two got into it. I say that's what I'll be here for. When my PG don't back down, and I love my PGs. When my PGs don't back down, you and Dray got into each other's face. I mean, it's all competitiveness. I think, just talk about Dray and how he bring that competitive nature out of that series. But more importantly, I think he brought it out of you, where you was like, you know what? I got to be the one. You know what I mean? It can't be Sabonis. It's got to be like you. I think you was like, fuck it, man. It's got to be me.
I mean, it takes, like I said before, like to win at a high level, bro, you got to be able to match that. And like he had a hard foul. Is what it is. Physical. You got to match the physicality. So being able to be in that series and like understand that like guys are getting to it. People always talking about, oh, you can't be friends and blah, blah, blah. Bro, we can be cool off the court and punch each other in the mouth on the court. Like you fight with your brothers, you fight with your sisters, you fight with your cousins. After it's all said and done, you love them the same. So being able to go through that and like I think that was me and Dre's first time really like getting into it, obviously, because his team's always been blowing my teams out. So it's like, shit, what can I say? Why we always get ass whooped. So like able to be in that is definitely like it's cool, and like you have to be able to match that because this is as a team. If you back down and somebody like him or a team like that's been there, once they smell blood, it's a wrap. Like once they sense fear, they sense you really don't want to fight, it's over for you. So that's where we as a team had to step up and be able to match that. And I think once my team saw that, and they already know like how I get, like if I get pissed off, like I'm a different person, different player. So like
Yeah,
them being able to
yeah,
see that, I think helped us be able to extend the series. Cause like you said, they won 3 straight. We go into game 6 at their crib, like y'all can lay down
Mhm.
or y'all can try to bring it back home. And I
hmm
think game 4, even though we lost game 5, like still we still had that belief. We still had that belief that we could win this
yeah.
series. And like I said, game 7, second half, they and we was rattled. We was rattled on 10 and it was over.
Yeah, it was, it was a testament of, hey man, y'all fighting the heavyweight champs. You know what I mean? And y'all young guns and y'all swinging, y'all fighting. But there's something to what these dudes
Mhm.
know. You know what I mean? In that championship pedigree, and when you think about, even Steph setting his playoff career high, of 50 points. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like what was
Bro,
that like? You know what I'm saying? For you, like, what was that like being on the court? I know, like, it wasn't a pleasant thing, but when you look at it, for where you want to grow and where you want to get to as a player, talk about that game 7 and how important it is, because I feel like it's gonna mold your career.
when I say it was nothing you could do, like we threw the whole goddamn kitchen out. Like we didn't throw the sink. We threw everything that was in the kitchen at him. And there was absolutely nothing you could do. He dribbling around 4 or 5 people and one, throwing and getting it back and 1 3. And it was like just a snowball. And it's like, bro,
Mhm.
we trying. But once they
Yeah.
figured it out in that second half, like no matter what we did, just wasn't working. So being it like, but a lot of that don't even have to do with just your skill or just their skill. It had to do with their know-how.
Mhm.
Once
Yep.
they knew what was going on, how it was going, everybody got it going. Like it wasn't just Steph, it was
Mhm.
everybody got it going, and there was just nothing we could do because we hadn't been there and we didn't know how to adjust to the last thing that they did. And like I said, that's when the series just was over.
It's crazy because, and when you talk about making adjustments, like there's more than just game plan adjustments that need to be made. Like sometimes, and you kind of just hit at it. Sometimes in the playoffs, it's attitude adjustments that have to be made. And after y'all popped us in game 6, the next morning, um, I sent something to Steph. I texted him at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep. And so I texted him like what my thoughts. And he texted me back this book. And he was like, it's funny you can't sleep because here's what I'm thinking. And it was like a book, like with way more detail than what I was saying. And I'm like, we gotta have a meeting. He like, yeah, we need to have a meeting tomorrow. But I talk in a lot of the meetings. He said, but I got this. All right, big dog, you got it. Like, and we went in that meet, players only. And he pretty much said to everybody, like, I don't care about your ego. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. If you get on this bus, this is what it is. You come in, you get to lose balls. You come in to play hard. I don't care if you play a minute, if you play a second, if you care to play 2. I don't care if it's me, if it's Draymond, if it's Clay. I don't care who you are. If you play, you don't play. If you get on that bus, you come with one attitude, you riding with me. If you ain't riding, don't get on the bus. Uh. And then he came out and did that.
Mm.
And I was like, oh wow,
No,
that's
no,
that's crazy.
Sicko.
Like
that's
that,
sick.
whoa. Like, so it was this. And coming off winning the NBA finals the year before, you gotta get through that first round. Like the reality is I don't think we ain't have enough. We ran out of gas, but you just had to muster up everything that you could.
And his little bro, the little bro is biting on them ankles, baby. He want to scrap. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta give De'Aaron, we gotta give you your flowers because in that series 24-7-5. I mean, for a coming out party for, your first playoff game, I think, one, you established that pedigree, that we've all known since college. but like to see you mature into that role and to be able to have that stage, man. That's why I love the playoffs because the real one's gonna shine. You know what I mean? The real is gonna prevail and step up. And so, I love seeing that from you, and I wanted to give you your flowers in the series because taking the champs, the 7 games, man, y'all definitely deserve some credit. And I think, little bro, they getting bigger, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. But where we are now, like, especially where I am in my career, and like I'm about to I'm getting close to getting on my 3rd contract. You want to be a team and a player that's constantly in the playoffs. Can you obviously everybody wants to win a championship, right? Everybody can't be a contender. Truth of the matter, everybody wants to win. Shit, honestly, everybody don't want to win. Truth be told,
That's a fact.
Everybody
Most don't. Most
But,
don't.
you want to be part of that group that's always in the playoffs. And obviously, at times you might have a 2 or 3 year window where you can win a championship here and there, here or there, here or there. So like,
Yeah.
for me as a player, trying to figure out what we have to do to take that next step, because you don't want to always be like, oh, and we lost to the Warriors because they just won a championship and they beat us in the first round. Like, I can't let that be just the only story that we have to tell. So, I mean, it's still a lot of work that we have to do as a team, as an organization. But I think we're trying to build towards that. You don't want to have that just one off. Y'all had a good season, you broke the streak, and then shit starts again.
Hey, but Fox, what was you recently, right before the season, had an opportunity to sign an extension. What was the motivation for you to pass on the extension, essentially continuing to bet on yourself, but to pass on that amount of money and just play the season out?
For me, man, it has all to do with just the team, the organization. Where are we going? I want to make sure that we're in a position to try to win in the future, because that's ultimately what I want to do. Like, I know I make enough money regardless of where I play or what I do. Like, I'm gonna be fine, unless God forbid, knock on wood, that you have a career in injury. But aside from that, like, I feel like I'm continuing to get better as a player every year. But for me, are we looking like we're continuing to get better year after year, and are we going to be able to compete at a high level? And that's all mine is. Like, if we can show that this year, like, you sign an extension now. If not, like, obviously I still have another year, but that's where my mindset is. At some point, will we be able to compete for a championship or really compete at a high level for a long time? And that's where I'm at.
You at that stage.
I love the city. Like, I love being here. I've raised my family here. We got our grandparent there, or the kids' grandparents here. Like, I would love to be here and retire here. Play. I mean, how many people can say they played in one organization for their whole career? Like, I want to be a part of that select few people. But at the end of the day, I also want to win. So
you gotta win. Especially where you at.
That's where you make your real money.
You want the elite. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You want that window. You want that chance, man. And I think you got to put yourself in the best situation at all times, especially when you're in the prime of your career.
I'm coming up on those years. So
yeah,
they know I'm gonna
most
give all I got. But at the end of the day, brother, organization also got to give all they got. So, like, that's where we are right now.
I respect you holding them to the end of the bargain as well, because most guys in your position these days, they don't.
Yeah.
They just do whatever it is that, and then a lot of them have agents that aren't willing to take that risk. A lot of them have agents that's like, yo, you should sign this extension because the money. Yeah. I know from experience you have an agent that's like, no, this got to make sense for you. Like, and if this don't make sense for you, it is my duty and obligation to advise you to do what makes sense for you. Right. Because we in a position, we getting the money, you know what I'm saying? But there's a certain standard that should be upheld from organizations when you're talking star players. And I think the Kings is a great organization. It takes time to turn an organization. Vivek took over the team. He came from here. Vivek, I think, is one of the better owners in this league. And I think, I know they want to be great, But in wanting to be great, you have to learn how to do it, and so.
Yeah, it takes time to learn how to do that.
Absolutely. It's not that I know where they have struggled. It's never for a lack of one to be great. They want to be great, but one to be great is making the right hires at all levels.
And you gotta have them minds. You gotta have them minds on all levels.
And that's one thing Mike actually did when he got here. He's like, yo, from ownership down to the ball boys, equipment guys, we got to be aligned. And that's what he brought. Like first meeting, got somebody from every single department. Like, so he's bringing that. Obviously, he knows what it takes.
For sure. No, 100%. You have to do that. And I think, with like that, I thought from the gate, Mike B was a great hire. But everything around that has to make sense in order for that hire to reach its ultimate potential. So I respect it, brother. I wish you well. We appreciate you coming on the show, my dog. Thank you so much. Good luck the rest of the way. Stay healthy.
Fox ones, baby.
Keep rolling. No Fox one.
Hey, I'm a size 14, bro. XL. Come on, lace your OG.
What color you want?
Shit, man, you pick.
We got the green, all greens about to come out, but we had the blue and oranges that just dropped.
Blue and orange is my Nick colors, but the green, the green is for the money. And Draymond Green.
I appreciate y'all having me, brother.
Appreciate you. Shout out to the fans. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Go copy some of them. Young fella got his first shoe. It's a wrap from this episode of the Draymond Green Show with BD.
We out.
Peace.